Hello, my name is Imogen. This is a brief presentation on promoting well-being within a school environment. There are 4 components to today's presentation: the importance of professional development, significance of building students' social and emotional well-being, the Australian Student Wellbeing Framework, and key strategies to implement in the classroom. So you might be asking yourself, what is mental health and well-being? Well, health and well-being is characterized as more than just the absence of illnesses and includes life satisfaction, healthy behaviors, and resilience. So we're going to begin by looking at the importance of professional development. So educators play a vital role in promoting the intellectual, physical, social, emotional, and moral development and well-being of our young Australians. For educators to promote positivity with well-being, it is vital that the teachers firstly obtain a high personal well-being themselves. Although, how can you do this as an educator, promote health and well-being, when you yourself are struggling and may not have a high health and high well-being? The Australian government mentions that well-being is increasingly recognised as a key area in education. Teaching is an extremely rewarding profession, however, causes high rates of work overload, stress, depression, anxiety, and many more. With teachers working an average of 43 hours a week, teachers' mental health and well-being are decreasing rapidly, making the thought of quitting occur frequently. Teachers are beginning to retire after 10 years due to high demands and their suffering mental health and well-being. So what can we do to fix our own mental health and well-being? Well, Prince and McCallum emphasised the importance of taking a proactive, strength-based approach to improve their well-being. They encourage us to look through a positive lens and change our perception. To do this, professional development for teachers is vital and needs to happen now to equip teachers with knowledge, skills, and awareness to keep themselves and children safe. Furthermore, the Australian Standards of Professional Teachers, also known as APSTs, focus on the importance of improving that professional development to further extend students' learning within the classroom. With that, we're explicitly looking at APST 6.4. Now we're going to look at the significance of building students' social emotional well-being. Statistics show that the most common disorders in students are stress, anxiety, and depression. The Australian government estimates after COVID-19, schools reported in 2022 that 80% of their students had a negative impact with self-regulation. They were struggling to manage feelings, their mental health, they were creating a disruption in the classroom and adding additional support socially, emotionally, and behaviourally. In the classroom, each student has the fundamental right to the highest state of health, creating equity in the classroom. A child's social emotional well-being significantly impacts their confidence both inside and outside the classroom. So developing a positive and supporting learning environment for students' mental health and well-being significantly impacts their self-esteem and confidence, but this needs to start with the teachers first. So the Social Emotional Learning Framework, commonly known as the SEL framework, is the process which all young people and adults gain skills, knowledge, and attitudes to develop healthy decisions in regard to their mental health and well-being. The SEL helps empower young students and educators to create thriving, supporting schools that contribute to a safe and healthy learning environment. Through this, students are able to manage their emotions, feel empathy, and develop their own healthy decisions. The SEL framework is fantastic and works for short-term and long-term benefits. So now we're going to look at some of the short-term benefits. It promotes confident, engaged, and persist learners through challenges. It reduces behavioral problems. It improves their academic outcome and improves motivation and attitudes within the classroom environment. This will then bring up their mental health and well-being within a classroom space, creating positive attitudes for all students, where all students can learn safely and have that supportive environment. The SEL long-term benefits, which will help students in the long run, is readiness for higher education when they go into high school, when they go into university, and will eventually lead them to successful careers. Next, we have positive relationships. They build these with their parents, with the community, with their peers, with their teacher, with anyone. They are more prone to having positive relationships than negative ones. And lastly, a better mental health. If we work on having a better mental health at a younger age, it will improve that for their years to come. The Australian Wellbeing Framework, as shown on the screen, is a foundational document which provides a vision to support students to build positive learning environments and consider their current safety and wellbeing policies. There are 5 key components to this framework. These are leadership, inclusion, student voice, partnership, and support. Each of these components recognize the strong links between student safety and wellbeing with their learning outcomes. We are now going to put these components into theory, using 3 different strategies to implement in the classroom to support positive health and well-being. So now we are going to look at 3 different strategies and interventions that you can put in your own classroom if you have not already done so. The first strategy we will explore are the zones of regulation, which is a common framework used amongst numerous classrooms around Australia. This framework is an intervention that assists students to manage difficult emotions known as self-regulation. A child's social emotional well-being is significant as it impacts their health, well-being, and competence, and their overall quality of life. The zones of regulation aim to teach children strategies to cope with their feelings, to progress back to a sense of calmness and readiness to learn. There are 4 zones. You have blue zone, you have the yellow zone, the red zone, and the green zone. Each zone represents a feeling. For students in particular, it is difficult to find the words to match the emotions they are feeling. Hence why the images used on this photo displays emotions that they might be feeling, and therefore they know which zone they are in. These posters displayed are a fantastic resource that allows students to identify how they are feeling and identify how best to calm themselves down within the classroom environment. I have personally experienced how successful the zones of regulation are when students appear to be struggling with peers at school, family, or even their own mental health when something is going on and you're not quite sure. Creating a safe environment where students are able to voice their emotion and identify when they need that space to self-regulate and calm down is vital. Further, these allow children to recognize their emotion, increase their emotion vocabulary, develop problem-solving skills, become resilient, and identify a range of calming strategies to support themselves. This links back to the Australian Wellbeing Framework in regard to the student voice and support. Student voice in regards to the student ability to activate their own well-being and that feeling of connected to the social and emotional skills. This can be seen when students identify the zone that they are in and take the steps to bring them back to that state of readiness to learn. Furthermore, it links to the support by teaching staff, peers, families, and many more. How they integrate the zones to support a positive learning environment within the classroom where emotions can be explored, self-regulated, and talked about. To provide well-being, each student needs to feel a sense of belonging. When looking at the next strategy in a classroom perspective, if the books explored in the classroom don't represent a culture where you feel like you belong, the book choices need to be explored and they need to change. Therefore, the choice of books need to become more culturally diverse through their characters or even the story and the setting of the story, to promote that well-being through inclusion in the classroom. To further this, bringing in a guest speaker or members from the community to talk about their culture when suitable in the learning environment will engage students of diversity with a sense of belonging and inclusion. The Alice Springs Declaration supports this strategy as it promotes to support and include students in the education system, no matter where they live or their learning challenges. This links with the Australian Student Wellbeing Framework as a parent partnership in combined effort with the school community to support student wellbeing. Now we're looking at strategy 3. Classrooms can quickly become challenging for students with low health and well-being. Understanding how the environment impacts students is necessary to creating stress-free classrooms for focused learning. A Zen Den is a quiet place designated for students to retreat and self-regulate when they feel overwhelmed or overloaded from the surrounding environment. Having this space promotes students to take ownership of their ability to self-regulate emotions. Within the classroom, this can simply look like corners with pillows, calming sensory materials such as stress balls, pipe cleaners, elastic bands, or even puzzles. Even a small tent in the corner of a room goes a long way to provide a secure place where they can be alone and self-regulate. The strategy connects to the Australian Student Wellbeing Framework as the inclusion of all students' needs for their health and well-being and ability to self-regulate are adhered to. This promotes a welcoming culture within the school that values diversity and fosters positive, respectful relationships. Thank you for letting me share my findings, and I hope that you found something that was useful, especially those 3 strategies at the end.